The orbital siege. The mining facility Helios 7 hung in the void like a metallic spider, its massive extraction arms reaching deep into the rings of Saturn. Commander Michael Rodriguez stood on the observation deck, coffee in hand, watching the ballet of mining drones as they harvested precious helium-3 from the ice particles. After 20 years in space, he still found beauty in the dance of industry among the stars. His moment of peace shattered when Lieutenant Maya Patel burst onto the deck. "Commander, we've got incoming vessels. Unknown configuration. They're not responding to standard hails." Rodriguez set down his coffee. "How many?" "4 ships, sir. Big ones. They just appeared. No quantum signature, no FTL flash. It's like they materialized from nothing." The commander's weathered face hardened. Helios 7 wasn't a military installation, but Rodriguez had served in the Colonial Defense Force before taking this posting. He knew trouble when he heard it. The main screen flickered to life, revealing 4 vessels unlike anything in humanity's database. Their hulls seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it, giving them an unsettling void-like appearance. Crystalline structures protruded at odd angles, pulsing with an eerie blue luminescence. "Sir, they're broadcasting," Communications Officer David Chen reported. "Universal Translator is having trouble with the syntax, but I think I've got it." The screen changed to show a being that made Rodriguez's skin crawl. It stood roughly humanoid, but its body appeared to be composed of shifting geometric patterns, like a living fractal. Where its face should have been, there was only a swirling vortex of energy. "Humans of mining facility." The translated voice was mechanical, emotionless. "I am Prime Geometrist Axaxthor of the Zetheni Dominion. Your helium-3 extraction technology is required by our collective. You will transfer all technical specifications and surrender your facility immediately." Rodriguez stepped forward, his military bearing returning instinctively. "This is Commander Michael Rodriguez of the United Earth Mining Consortium. Helios 7 is a civilian operation under Earth jurisdiction. We don't recognize your authority here." The alien's energy vortex pulsed. "Recognition is irrelevant. Compliance is mandatory. You have 1 of your hours to begin data transfer. Failure will result in the termination of your biological functions." The transmission cut off abruptly. Rodriguez turned to his crew, seeing fear in their eyes. These weren't soldiers, they were miners, engineers, scientists. But he also saw something else: determination. "Patel, get me Earth Command. Chen, start encrypting all our technical databases. If they want our tech, they'll have to pry it from our cold, dead hands." He paused, then added with a grim smile, "And I don't plan on dying today." The facility erupted into controlled chaos. While most of the 150 crew members were civilians, they moved with purpose. Years of working in one of the most dangerous environments known to humanity had taught them discipline. Earth Command's response came quickly. Admiral Sarah Nakamura's stern face filled the screen. "Commander Rodriguez, we've received your report. The Zethani are known to the Galactic Council as technological parasites. They absorb other species' innovations through force." "What are our orders, Admiral?" Nakamura's expression didn't change. "Earth policy is clear. We do not negotiate with terrorists. Hold your position. The Third Fleet is en route, but it will take 36 hours to reach Saturn. Admiral, with respect, we're a mining facility. We have 150 civilians here. Which is why I know you'll find a way, Commander. Earth doesn't abandon its people, but we also don't reward aggression. Show them what humans are made of." Nakamura out. As the connection closed, Rodriguez felt the weight of command settle on his shoulders. 36 hours. He had to keep his people alive for 36 hours against an unknown enemy with superior technology. "Sir," Chief Engineer Hassan Malik approached, tablet in hand. "I've been thinking. We may not have weapons, but we have the most powerful mining equipment in the solar system." Rodriguez raised an eyebrow. "Go on." "The plasma drills we use to break up asteroids. With some modifications, they'd make decent energy weapons. The tractor beams for moving ore might work on ships, and the mining drones. Malik grinned. Well, anything moving at sufficient velocity becomes a kinetic weapon. The commander felt a spark of hope. Get on it. And Hassan, get creative. We're about to show these Zethani why humans are the most dangerous species when cornered. Over the next hour, Helios 7 transformed. Mining equipment was repurposed, emergency protocols were activated, and the crew split into teams. Some worked on defenses, others on deception. Dr. Elena Volkov, the facility's quantum physicist, approached Rodriguez with an idea. Commander, the Zethani ships appeared without any FTL signature. That suggests they use some form of dimensional shifting. If I can analyze their arrival pattern, we might be able to predict their movements or even disrupt their technology. Do it, Rodriguez nodded. We need every advantage we can get. As the deadline approached, the Zethani ships moved closer. Rodriguez stood in the command center, surrounded by his senior staff. The facility's industrial systems had been weaponized, crude but potentially effective. They're hailing us again, Chen reported. Hexaxthor's fractal form appeared on screen. Your time has expired. Begin data transfer immediately or face the consequences. Rodriguez straightened his uniform. Prime geometrist, I'll say this once. Leave this system now, and we'll pretend this never happened. Continue your threats, and you'll learn why humans are considered the most stubborn species in the known galaxy. The alien's energy vortex flared. Your defiance is noted. Prepare for boarding. Multiple objects launched from the Zethani ships. Boarding pods, sleek and angular. Rodriguez had expected this. Malik, activate the mining grid. Around Helios 7, dozens of mining drones suddenly changed course. The massive machines, designed to break apart asteroids, accelerated toward the incoming pods. The Zethani, not expecting resistance from a civilian facility, had no time to react. The first pod exploded as a mining drone smashed into it at full speed. Then another and another. The void around Helios 7 lit up with explosions. Sir, they're adapting, Patel called out. The remaining pods are taking evasive action. Phase 2, Rodriguez ordered. Light them up. The facility's plasma drills, normally used to vaporize rock, swiveled on their mountings. Brilliant beams of superheated energy lanced out, designed for mining but deadly to anything they touched. More pods disintegrated, but some got through. The facility shuddered as boarding pods attached to the outer hull. Rodriguez grabbed the intercom. All hands, we have boarders. Remember your training. These aren't asteroids we're dealing with, but the principle's the same. Controlled aggression, calculated risks. Through the security feeds, Rodriguez watched as geometric warriors emerged from the pods. The Zethani moved with unnatural precision, their fractal bodies shifting and adapting to the environment. What they didn't expect was the reception waiting for them. The first wave of Zethani encountered emergency bulkheads slamming shut, trapping them in airlocks. The atmospheric controls, usually used to maintain life support, suddenly vented the compartments into space. Those that made it past the airlocks faced mining personnel armed with improvised weapons. Plasma cutters became close combat tools. Industrial foam meant for sealing hull breaches immobilized the geometric warriors. Zero-gravity train miners used their environment expertly, turning corridors into three-dimensional battlefields. Commander, Dr. Volkov's voice crackled over the comm. I've analyzed their dimensional technology. They're using quantum tunneling, but it requires precise calculations. If we disrupt the local space-time metric, English, Doctor. If we randomly fluctuate our artificial gravity and fire our mining lasers in specific patterns, it'll mess with their systems. They won't be able to bring in reinforcements or retreat easily. Rodriguez grinned. Do it. Let's show them what happens when you corner human engineers. The battle for Helios 7 had begun, and the galaxy was about to learn that humans didn't just survive. They adapted, They overcame, and they absolutely refused to surrender to terror. As reports flooded in from various sections of the facility, Rodriguez coordinated the defense. His miners weren't soldiers, but they were humans, and that meant something in the vast cosmos. Every corridor became a trap, every system a weapon, every crew member a defender of humanity's right to exist on their own terms. The Zethani had expected easy prey. They found something else entirely: the indomitable human spirit, forged in the fires of adversity and tempered by the cold reality of space. The siege of Helios 7 had only just begun, but already the Zethani were learning a valuable lesson about humanity. We don't negotiate with terrorists, and we never, ever give up. Industrial improvisation. The second hour of the siege saw Helios 7 transform from a mining facility into a fortress of human ingenuity. Commander Rodriguez watched the tactical displays as his crew turned industrial equipment into weapons of war with terrifying efficiency. Zethani forces have secured sections C through E, Lieutenant Paddle reported, her fingers dancing across the holographic interface. But they're having trouble advancing. The industrial foam barricades are holding. Rodriguez nodded. The foam, designed to seal meteor punctures, had proven remarkably effective against the geometric warriors. When it hardened, it created barriers that even the Zethani's energy weapons struggled to penetrate. "What's the status on our improvised defenses?" he asked. Chief Engineer Malik pulled up a schematic. "The asteroid deflection system is online. We've reprogrammed it to target their ships instead of space rocks. The mining lasers are operating at 130% capacity. They'll burn out eventually, but for now, they're keeping the Zethani vessels at bay." The commander studied the display. The 4 Zethani ships maintained their position, occasionally firing energy bursts that the facility's reinforced hull absorbed. They seemed content to let their boarding parties do the work. "Sir," Chen interrupted, "I'm intercepting their communications. They're confused. They keep reporting that their dimensional shifts are failing." Dr. Volkov smiled from her station. "The gravity fluctuations are working. Their quantum calculations require stable spacetime. We're creating enough distortion to throw off their systems." Rodriguez felt a surge of pride. His crew of miners and scientists were holding their own against an advanced alien force through sheer human creativity. "Commander," a new voice crackled over the comm. It was Dr. Marcus Webb, head of the geology team. "We've got something interesting down in the processing center. Remember those experimental nanobot swarms we use for ore separation? The ones that break down minerals at the molecular level?" "Exactly. Well, we've reprogrammed them. They're now set to deconstruct Zethani warriors instead of rocks. We're calling them the Grey Goo Protocol." Rodriguez raised an eyebrow. "That's terrifying. And brilliant. Deploy them to the contested sections." The next phase of the battle saw the release of microscopic clouds of nanobots into the corridors where Zethani forces had gathered. The geometric warriors, for all their advanced technology, had no defense against machines too small to see. Their fractal bodies began to dissolve, geometric patterns breaking apart as the nanobots consumed them atom by atom. Panic spread through the Zethani ranks. Their ordered formations broke as warriors fled from an invisible enemy. Many retreated to their boarding pods, only to find that the miners had welded them shut. On the bridge of the lead Zethani vessel, Prime Geometrist Xaxthor watched the disaster unfold with growing concern. The energy vortex that served as his face pulsed erratically. "Analysis," he demanded of his science officer. "The humans are using multiple forms of improvised warfare," the officer reported. "Industrial equipment repurposed as weapons, molecular deconstruction swarms, artificial gravity manipulation. Their resistance is unprecedented. They are primitives." Hexaxthor's form flickered with anger. "Their technology is centuries behind ours. Yet they adapted in ways we did not anticipate. Their creativity appears to be their primary weapon." Back on Helios 7, Rodriguez coordinated the counterattack. All teams pressed the advantage. Drive them back to their boarding pods. The facility's crew, emboldened by their success, pushed forward. Miners who had spent years working in zero gravity moved through the corridors with practiced ease, using magnetic boots to walk on walls and ceilings, attacking from unexpected angles. In the hydroponics bay, botanist Dr. Sarah Lynn had turned growth accelerators into weapons, rapidly growing vines, genetically modified for space agriculture, now entangled Zethani warriors, their enhanced thorns piercing geometric bodies. The facility's eye, originally designed to manage mining operations, had been repurposed by the computer team into a cyber warfare system. It attacked the Zethani's networked consciousness, flooding their shared data streams with contradictory information and false sensor readings. "Commander," Patel called out, "the Zethani are attempting to retreat, but they can't activate their dimensional shifts." Dr. Volkov's interference is working perfectly. Rodriguez watched the tactical display with grim satisfaction. Maintain the gravity fluctuations. Don't let them escape. The tide had turned. What started as a hostage situation had become a trap for the Zethani. They had expected to overwhelm a civilian facility. Instead, they found themselves fighting an enemy that turned every system, every tool, every piece of equipment into a weapon. In the mess hall, which had become a makeshift field hospital, Dr. Amelia Foster treated wounded crew members while explaining the situation to a group of younger miners. "You see," she said while applying a healing gel to a plasma burn, "the Zethani made a classic mistake. They assumed that because we're not a military installation, we'd be helpless. They forgot that humans don't need weapons to be dangerous. We are the weapon." The young miners nodded, understanding dawning in their eyes. They had grown up on stories of human ingenuity, how their ancestors had survived ice ages, built civilizations from nothing, and reached for the stars with primitive rockets. This was just another chapter in that story. As the battle raged on, Rodriguez received an unexpected message from the Zethani commander. "Human." Xaxthor's translated voice was strained. "This conflict serves no purpose. We offer cessation of hostilities. Allow our forces to withdraw." Rodriguez's jaw tightened. "You came here demanding our technology, threatening our lives. Now you want to leave. No, you started this, but we'll finish it. You cannot hope to defeat the Dominion. We are infinite. Maybe. But you're not infinite here, not now. And that's all that matters." The commander cut the transmission and turned to his crew. "Status report. 80% of Zethani boarders neutralized," Malik reported. "Their ships are trying to break our jamming field, but the mining laser grid is keeping them pinned." "Sir," Dr. Volkov added, "I've noticed something interesting. Their dimensional technology creates detectable quantum resonance. If we modulate our scanner array, we might be able to track their movements throughout the galaxy." Rodriguez's eyes widened. "You mean we could warn other systems when they're approaching?" "Exactly. Turn their own technology against them." The implications were staggering. Not only were they defeating the Zethani here, but they might have found a way to protect others from similar attacks. "Commander," Chen's voice was urgent. "The Zethani are doing something to their captured warriors. Some kind of self-destruct protocol." On the screens, they watched as trapped Zethani began to glow with increasing intensity. Their geometric forms shifted rapidly, energy building to critical levels. "They're turning themselves into bombs," Malik realized. "If they detonate inside the facility." Rodriguez didn't hesitate. "Emergency Protocol Omega. Vent those sections into space. Now." Alarms blared as entire compartments were explosively decompressed. The human crew had already evacuated to safe zones, but the Zethani warriors were blown into the void, their self-destruct sequences triggering harmlessly in vacuum. The sacrifice of their boarding parties seemed to galvanize the Zethani ships. They began charging their main weapons, preparing for a direct assault on the facility. "All hands," Rodriguez announced, "prepare for bombardment. Route all available power to the defense grid. But before the Zetheni could fire, something unexpected happened. Space itself seemed to tear open, and ships began emerging. Not Zetheni vessels, but something else entirely. "Commander," Patel's voice was filled with awe. "Those are Earth ships. But they're not Third Fleet. The identification codes, they're from Project Nullifier." Rodriguez felt his blood run cold. Project Nullifier was a classified program, so secret that even he, with his military background, had only heard rumors. If Earth Command had deployed them, the galaxy was about to learn exactly why humans were considered the most dangerous species when provoked. The Zetheni had awakened something they couldn't comprehend. Humanity's hidden fist, forged in secret, waiting for moments exactly like this. As the sleek, dark vessels of the Nullifier fleet positioned themselves between Helios 7 and the Zetheni ships, Rodriguez knew the real lesson was about to begin. The miners had shown human creativity and resilience. Now the galaxy would witness human wrath. The Consequence Protocol. The Nullifier fleet materialized like shadows given form. 12 vessels that seemed to drink in the light around them. Unlike the angular aggression of the Zetheni ships, these human craft were smooth, almost organic in design, with surfaces that shifted and flowed like liquid mercury. Commander Rodriguez stared at the tactical display in disbelief. "Those can't be human ships. They look more alien than the Zetheni." "They're ours, sir," Lieutenant Patel confirmed, her voice hushed. "Project Nullifier, Theoretical Physics Division. They've been developing them in secret for decades." A new signal came through. Override priority. The face that appeared on screen was not Admiral Nakamura, but someone Rodriguez had never seen before. A woman with silver hair and cybernetic implants visible along her temples. "Commander Rodriguez, I am Admiral Victoria Sato of Strategic Command. Your defense of Helios 7 has been exemplary. Stand down your improvised weapons. We'll handle it from here." "Admiral, what are those ships?" Sato's expression remained neutral. "The consequence of threatening humanity, Commander. The Zetheni are about to learn why we've survived every challenge the galaxy has thrown at us." The Nullifier ships spread out in a perfect formation, creating a sphere around the Zetheni vessels. Prime Geometrist Xaxthor's fractalized form appeared on an open channel, his energy vortex pulsing erratically. "Unknown vessels, identify yourselves. You are interfering with Dominion operations." Admiral Sato's response was broadcast on all frequencies. "Zetheni Dominion. I am Admiral Victoria Sato of Earth Strategic Command. You have committed acts of war against a human installation. You have threatened our people. You have demanded our technology. By the authority of United Earth, you are hereby sentenced to erasure." Erasure. Xaxthor's translation carried confusion. "We do not understand this term." "You will." The Nullifier ships began to emit a low harmonic frequency that resonated through space itself. On Helios 7, the crew felt it in their bones, a vibration that seemed to touch something fundamental in reality. Dr. Volkov gasped as her instruments went haywire. "Commander, they're generating some kind of quantum field. It's rewriting local space-time." The Zetheni ships attempted to flee, their dimensional drives flaring to life. But the quantum field had already taken hold. Space around them began to warp and twist in impossible ways. "What's happening to them?" Rodriguez asked, watching as the geometric vessels seemed to stretch and distort. "The Nullifier technology," Volkov explained, her voice filled with awe and horror. "It doesn't destroy in the conventional sense. It removes things from existence, not just from our space, but from all possible spaces. It erases them from reality itself." On the screen, Xaxthor's form was fragmenting, his geometric patterns losing coherence. "This is impossible. We are eternal. We err." His words cut off as the Zetheni ships began to fade, becoming translucent, then transparent, then nothing. Where 4 advanced alien vessels had been, there was now only empty space. No debris, no energy signatures, No trace they had ever existed. The silence on Helios 7's bridge was profound. Admiral Seto's face reappeared. "Commander Rodriguez, you and your crew have performed admirably. Your creative defense bought us the time we needed to respond. Earth Command commends you." "Admiral," Rodriguez found his voice, "what exactly did we just witness?" "The reason humanity has survived in a hostile galaxy, Commander. We may prefer peace, we may seem weak to those who mistake compassion for vulnerability, but we have teeth. The nullifier fleet is those teeth. But erasing them from existence, isn't that excessive?" Sato finished. "Perhaps, but it sends a message. The galaxy needs to understand that threatening human lives has consequences. Not just death, but obliteration so complete that it's as if you never existed at all." The implications sank in. This wasn't just about defending Helios 7. This was about establishing humanity's position in the galactic hierarchy. "The Galactic Council will have questions," Rodriguez said. "Let them ask." The Zethani were known aggressors, tolerated because no one had the power to stop them. Now they're gone, and every species that might have considered humans easy prey will think twice. After the Admiral signed off, Rodriguez turned to his crew. They looked shell-shocked, struggling to process what they'd witnessed. "Listen up," he said, his voice carrying through the bridge. "What happened here today doesn't leave this facility. We defended ourselves against pirates. That's the official story." "But sir," Chen protested, "the Zethani never existed," Rodriguez finished firmly. "That's what erasure means. As far as the universe is concerned, they were never here." In the days that followed, as Helios 7 returned to normal operations, strange reports began filtering in from across the galaxy. The Zethani Dominion's worlds were found empty, their technology inert, their databases blank. It was as if an entire civilization had been deleted from reality. The Galactic Council convened emergency sessions. Ambassadors demanded explanations. Earth's representative, a seasoned diplomat named Elena Kovic, addressed the assembly with careful precision. "The Zethani Dominion appears to have suffered a catastrophic failure of their dimensional technology," she explained. "Our scientists theorize that their aggressive expansion finally destabilized their quantum infrastructure. A tragedy, certainly, but perhaps a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked technological theft." No one believed her, of course, but no one could prove otherwise. The nullifier fleet had returned to wherever such weapons were kept, leaving no trace of their involvement. 3 weeks after the incident, Rodriguez received a private message from Admiral Nakamura. "Michael," she wrote, using his first name for the first time, "what you and your crew accomplished was remarkable. You showed the best of humanity. Our creativity, our resilience, our refusal to surrender. But you also witnessed our darker side. The galaxy sees us as explorers, traders, diplomats. They need to know we can also be executioners when necessary. Your discretion in this matter is appreciated. Earth remembers her defenders." Rodriguez deleted the message after reading it, as protocol demanded. But he couldn't delete the memory of watching an entire species cease to exist. Months passed. Helios 7 continued its mining operations. The crew never spoke of the siege, though sometimes Rodriguez caught them looking at the stars with a mixture of pride and unease. Then, one day, a delegation from the Proxima Alliance arrived. Ambassador Thex, a methane-breathing crystalline being, requested a private meeting with Rodriguez. "Commander," Thex said through his translator, "my people have long debated whether to share our advanced energy technology with humanity. Some argued you were too primitive, too violent. Others said you were too peaceful, too naive to survive in this galaxy." Rodriguez waited. "Recent events have clarified our position. We would like to propose a technology exchange. Our energy systems for your medical advances." "Recent events?" Rodriguez asked carefully. "We are not fools, Commander. We know what happened to the Zethani. More importantly, we understand the message. Humanity extends the hand of friendship, but that hand can become a fist if threatened. After the ambassador left, Rodriguez stood on the observation deck, looking out at Saturn's rings. The galaxy had indeed learned its lesson. Humanity would explore, trade, and build relationships across the stars. But those who mistook kindness for weakness would discover that humans had evolved beyond mere survival. They had become the guardians of their own destiny, willing to protect their people at any cost. The siege of Helios 7 had shown human ingenuity. The Nullifier fleet had demonstrated human resolve. Together, they sent a clear message across the cosmos. Humanity does not negotiate with terror. They end it. As Rodriguez watched the mining drones return to their eternal dance among Saturn's rings, he realized that the greatest human achievement wasn't their technology or their weapons. It was their ability to be both creators and destroyers, to build beautiful things while maintaining the capacity for terrible violence when necessary. The galaxy had learned the hard way that humans don't bargain with terror. They eliminate it so thoroughly that it might as well have never existed at all. And in the vast expanse of space, where countless species watched and waited, that lesson resonated like a bell, clear and undeniable. Humanity had arrived, not as conquerors or victims, but as a force that would shape the destiny of the galaxy itself. The stars belonged to everyone, but those who threatened humanity's place among them would find themselves erased from the cosmic story, as if they had never been written at all.